How do you like them apples? After you did what you did to us the day before, we took care of business. How do you like 5 homers against you in 1 inning, which ties a major league record? How do you like that? How do you like the fact that we hit 6 home runs in a game? How would you like the fact that we scored 13 runs against you? How you like them apples? Yeah, we'll talk about that and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast that starts now.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett's on his way back from the Sugarland Space Cowboys. You see, I said it right. So he should be here any moment now, but we're both excited about this game. This was one of those games that we're going to remember where we were at that moment that it happened. I mean, we were all like thinking about this game, and like after the bittersweet taste of defeat after Neris gave up those 3 runs late in Monday's game, and then with Jake Odorizzi going down, and then we all needed something, and then this happened, and it was so sweet to just see everything that happens. First, Alvarez's home run, and there's just so much for us to kind of break down in this show. This was one of those games that you will never forget going to. We're going to talk about that. What's going on with Jake Odorizzi? Did they give us any more information than just left leg discomfort? And then who came up because he was placed on the IL, and what is the future plans in terms of a 6-man rotation, or they could stick to a 5-man rotation. So we're going to talk about that. And thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and keep on subscribing to us. Go ahead and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. If you're like Brett, if you're on your way over to the Space Cowboy game or on your way back home from the Space Cowboy game, go and just keep on listening to the Locked On Astros podcast and make us your first listen every day. And so the first inning of today's game was not good. I think the pitcher, Evaldi, only threw like 5 pitches and they got 3 outs. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is going to be Evaldi just kind of doing what he does. He's been pretty good for the Red Sox this year. But then the second inning came around and that they took care of business. Alvarez hit that line drive over the Green Monster. And then you saw Jeremy Pena hit that home run. And this is it. He was returning back to the lineup. He didn't have as many friends and family as he did the game before, but that was great to see him come back. And then Kyle Tucker hit the home run. And then you saw who am I missing? Then you also Michael Brantley hit the home run. And then you also had Yuli Gurriel hit the franchise the tiebreaker for the franchise record, because the Astros have hit 4 home runs before in a game, and it was back in September 8th of 2004. Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, Lance Berkman, and Mike Lamb each hit 1 in the first inning against the Reds. Roger Clemens was on the mound. The Astros would go on to win the game 5-2. And you know what that sounds like? It sounds like a lot of solo home runs, except for Mike Lamb. His was a 2-run homer. But that shows what type of baseball it was back in 2004. You don't have a lot of these big scoring games, but you have a lot of 5-2 victories because you have pitchers like Roger Clemens. But then you have something in the middle of all this. So we'll talk more about the 5 home runs. Then you have Jose Altuve reaching 1,800 career hits, and he is the 4th player in Astros history to do this. And that happened in second inning as well. But the Tigers hit 5 home runs in that second the Astros hit 5 home runs in that second inning. The Tigers have 18 home runs the whole season. And somebody mentioned in the chat before, and I know I saw that. I was looking at the team stats by ESPN, and they haven't updated it, but the Astros are leading the league with 55 home runs as of right now. So it's just great to see that the offense is coming back alive. Carlos Correa, yes, sad to see you go, but Jeremy Pena is living up to all the hype. He is becoming the player that the Astros needed when they took the gamble, because Carlos Correa was the heart and soul. He was the guy that kind of took care of business. He was the Gold Glove defender. He was the guy that was the one who's going to lead the Astros to promised land, and he still may do that for the Twins. But Jeremy Pena is kind of becoming that quiet verbal leader. He's becoming that guy to just do the same thing on the field. He's making the great defenders and everything like that. So we'll see what's going on here. So it's just awesome to see this type of game. And Brett says he's about 8 minutes away, so he'll join us in a little bit. So it was just a great all-around game. And if you look at let me turn this off. So so if you look at the exit velocities in this game, it was on both sides. It was just crazy to see. Like, we're going to talk about Jose Urquidy in a second, but the Astros had a lot of high exit velocities, and not just on the home runs, but if you look at the exit velocity, the hardest hit ball of the game was not a home run. It was Jordan Alvarez, a fielder's choice, and it was a 110.8 miles per hour. It had a negative 21 launch angle, distance of 7 feet, and it was an expected batting average of 270. And Jeremy Pena had the second highest exit velocity of 110.5. That was, of course, a home run, a 21-degree launch angle, 411 feet. Then you also had Kyle Tucker. He had 2 home runs tonight, 2 home runs. And we're going to talk a little bit about the extensions and how he did confirm that the Astros did talk to him about extensions. And he said that don't worry about that. We'll worry about that. I still have this year. Then I have 3 more years with the Astros. And I'm not worried about it. I'm just here to play baseball. But Kyle Tucker had a 1 home run with a exit velocity of 105.3. That was off of Valdi. That was in the second inning course. That was 413 feet. Then you had another one that was 104.9 miles per hour off the plate. It was 36 launch angle, and that went 386 feet, and that was around Pesky's pole, and that was, of course, the grand slam. So that was like Kyle Tucker saying to the Houston Astros, I'm here, extend me, give me all your money, and I'll be your right fielder for the rest of my career. And it's like he was opening up an ad, and we'll talk more about what Jose Urquidy did in a second, but it's like he was opening up an ad in LinkedIn, and it's with spring in the air. It's time of renewal and growth, personally and professionally. As your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes. LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 people. Then add your job and your purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring, so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you like to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Why don't you check out the Locked On Now podcast? They do a great job of putting all the Locked On Nows. Like I just did one talking about the Astros hitting 5 home runs an inning. I still can't believe it. It's a new franchise record, and I want to hear what Lauren Campbell did over at the Locked On Red Sox podcast, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit down in, oh well, I guess the Astros are cheating again. Or I'm kidding, but you know what I mean. But it's just a great way to see what's going on around baseball. What are the Angels doing? What's going on with the Yankees? And just go check out the Locked On Now podcast to just see what's going on there. So what do y'all think about today's game? Are y'all excited? Are y'all getting pumped up about Astros baseball? It's amazing how much 2 weeks of just baseball will just kind of change your spirits. I know everybody really thought that everything would be great with these Astros, but yeah. So Solo Thought Sports says, "What a great game, man!" And then Wesley Parrott says, "Crea who?" And then KT says that the Astros offense was cooking tonight. Yeah, the Astros offense was definitely cooking tonight. And just overall, it was just an overall game. Hey, there's the man, H-Town Wheelhouse. How you doing, buddy? You just came back
Doing good.
from
Hey,
the Sugarland Skeeters game.
no, Space
The
Cowboys.
Sugarland Space Cowboys. I said it earlier, and I was all proud of myself, and then you come in, and I'm screwing myself. So how you doing, Brett?
Doing good, man. Got to see Sean Dubin, Alex McKenna, friends of the show. Got to see Corey Jolks, local Clearbrook baseball product. He actually hit a tank tonight, an absolute blast. DeGoty broke up a no-hitter. The Rangers' number 25 prospect was on the mound. Kid looks really good and had them going. And I said, hey, let's break up the no-hitter with a home run. And DeGoty goes deep to left field. And so it was fun. They weren't winning when I left, but Pete Solomon got roughed up a little bit, gave up like 5 or 6 runs in the first few innings. Dubin came in, settled down. They were using the automatic balls and strike system tonight too.
Oh, they were?
So it didn't seem to be very foolproof. I was like, we need to fire the robot ump and bring back the humans, we were yelling. So yeah, we had fun. I was out there with Alex and Mark. So we're having a good time. I was waiting for one of the guys and they said, did you hear about the inning the Astros just had? And I'm like, no, I'm waiting for y'all to get here. And then I saw that they lit up the scoreboard with the home runs, which I'm sure you've already talked about. But what a first game back for Jeremy Pena, huh?
Yeah, definitely. To be part of history. I mean, this is not just it's not just part of Astros history, but they joined a elite group of teams that have done this. I mean, I think it was 8 teams or something that have done this in the history of baseball to hit 5 home runs in a game. And nobody has ever done it with 6 home runs, in an inning. Nobody has ever done it with 6 home runs in an inning. So if just one more person would have done it, that would have just set a major league record. But that just
That's
shows
amazing.
how hard it is to do this. And
No, yeah, definitely. Oh, and hey, I got, speaking of home runs, I got to see Corey Lee, got to see Pedro Leon, got both their autographs. Corey Lee, I'm like, hey, you got to come on the show. He's like, man, I'd love to. And so I don't know, maybe we'll have a Corey Lee sighting sometime this year. But yeah, dude. And then Kyle Tucker, he hit 2 home runs, right? Didn't he hit like a 2-run and then a grand slam?
yes, and both of them, the grand slam was around Pesky's pole. It was just a
Oh,
question of
wow.
whether if it's going to be fair or foul, and it was a grand slam. And I love one of the beat writers. I forgot what his name is, but he's always so negative, and he's like, "Well, you know what? We've seen 5 home runs in an inning. What have we not seen tonight? A grand slam. Well, there it is."
That's awesome.
But I wanted to kind of talk about Jose Urquidy because in 5 innings, he gave up 12 hits. He allowed 4 earned runs. He only had 1 strikeout. He allowed 2 home runs. One of them, I kind of mentioned on Twitter, if there was such thing as being posterized in baseball,
That
That
was it.
home run was posterizing him. That JD Martinez was out of the Fenway Park or Fenway Park, I guess I should say.
Fenway Park. It was in Harvard Yard past the car, right?
Yes, but it was a blast, and it was like you could tell by Jose Urquidy's expression. He was like, "Oh, man." But if there's such a poster of being posterized, it would be that. But the launch angle of that was 29 degrees, and it only went 401 feet, but
Well, yeah,
it
but
looked, yeah,
yeah, but isn't the left field like 297 or something ridiculously small? But JD Martinez, hasn't he always hit the Astros really well? I mean,
yeah.
he was 3 for 5 tonight. I mean, he's a guy. I think if anybody ever has a constant FU to any club in a whole career, it's JD Martinez. I mean, JD Martinez has become an exceptional player. He plays the game the right way. When he's a dependable guy. And can you imagine had we held on to him? Now, no telling how his career would have gone with us, but he was right. He's like, I'm ready. And I remember when he left, hearing the story that he said, I'm ready this year. I'm going to do it. And then they let him go. And his whole career, he's been like, you know what? I got you back. And he did. He went, 3 for 5 tonight. Devers went 3 for 4. That's the thing about the Red Sox, Eric. The Red Sox have a good lineup. They have a lineup that can hit. They just haven't been throwing up the runs. They've been giving up. That's why their record is what it is.
Yeah, and if you're going back to Jose Urquidy, his ERA is 4.81 after 7 starts. His whiff rate this season is 20%. Last year it was 24.9, and in 2019 it was 28.3. The Red Sox took 55 swings against him, and they only missed 7 times. They averaged a 91 miles per hour exit velocity against him with 26 balls in play. So, in other words, he was not fooling the Red Sox tonight, and you can tell by the 12 hits, and even the outs were hard. Like Kyle Tucker robbed
Right.
somebody a home run, and there was just a lot of screaming outs and a lot of there's a lot of errors. Like even Alex Bregman, one of them they called a hit, even though it should have been an error. Then he
Okay.
made
Are you
another
talking about
error.
the ball he booted late in the game?
No, earlier.
Okay. Okay.
One went
Because I know
underneath.
the one. Okay. Because I know the one he did. Later on, I was actually listening on the way home. He actually booted it, and I believe they gave him an error. That's the one error on the Astros mark. But Eric, tonight, 13 runs, 15 hits, 13 RBI, and only 8 strikeouts. I mean that's huge. Nathan Eovaldi, we actually hit against him really well. He is a local kid. He's a local product. And I know he probably comes with this game face on, especially when he plays his hometown team, right? From Alvin,
Right.
went to Alvin Community College. But this was a game that they needed, especially with Jeremy Pena coming back. They needed a performance like this out of the entire team. When this team hits, when this team does what they're supposed to do, your pitcher can kind of go up there and be kind of shaky. Here is Urquidy's calling card. It's his location. His location. He doesn't he can't get up to 92, 93, but it's not his speed. He's not going to blow a ball by you and get guys swinging and missing a lot. It's his location. And if he can get that down, Eric, he can be a prime pitcher.
Well, here's the issue: is he threw 99 pitches, 70 of them were strikes. He didn't walk any batters. So the Red Sox are an aggressive team. They like to.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about, location, like in the zone. Like you can be hitting the zone, but still have bad location, right? Like you could throw 70 strikes, but if they hit 20 of the balls that are strikes or they're barreling up stuff, then what I'm saying, and that's why Greg Maddux was so amazing on the mound. I remember watching Greg Maddux square off against Roger Clemens at Minute Maid. Greg
Yes.
Maddux at the end of his career was just absolutely magical. 86 miles an hour, getting guys swinging and missing on meat pitches, but he was painting the corners. So, Urquidy does still have some adjustments, I think, to make. But, dude, how did you like Martinez coming in for 3 innings, only giving up 1 hit, a solid performance from the kid coming off the taxi squad.
Yeah, he looked. He gave up the 2 walks, and this is something that we predicted on the show last night, especially since he was already there. There's no reason shipping somebody up if you don't have to. That does not mean
Actually,
that.
you predicted it, not we. I'm not
Okay,
gonna take credit for that. You did. Good job. Because I honestly forgot he was there. I was like, oh, bring up Solomon, bring up this guy. You're like, no, Seth Martinez is on the taxi squad. So
right.
good job, Eric. Nice catch.
Yeah, so Seth Martinez is there. The only problem is he threw 48 pitches. That means that he's probably going to be out for tomorrow's game, and he's probably going to be out for the next 2-3 days. So because he is a long relief pitcher right now, and I know that Chandler Rome kept on telling people today, well, they probably need to bring a long reliever right now because Jake Odorizzi is on the IL right now, and they still have not said exactly what's wrong with him. I know he was in the dugout. I don't know if you saw this or heard about this, but he was in the dugout today. He was laughing. He had the crutches. He was kind of going around like this with the crutches, but that they still don't know what it is. They don't. They're waiting for the results of the MRI. But Dusty Baker made some interesting comments about the injury. We'll talk about that in a second, and we'll have to do interesting thoughts by Dusty. But
Yeah, definitely. I want to hear it.
so before we do that, let's talk about building our pantry full of Built Bar.
So Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the land, and they have this new Built Puff. It's birthday cake, icing, flavor extraordinaire. I had another one today, and so I literally sat there and I took a picture of the Built Bar on my keyboard, and I said I practice what I preach because I really do consume Built Bars. I don't just make this stuff up. I consume them. It's the best tasting protein bar in the land. I sat there thinking, okay, I describe this as dipping your finger from, you know what? Thinking about it today, it was I had just like I was eating out of a tub of ice. That's what Built Puffs are. They're made with this collagen protein that actually that your body absorbs quickly and efficiently. 150 calories, four net carbs, 4 grams of sugar, and let me tell you, it has 17 grams of protein. Check out built.com. Use a promo code LOCK15 for 15 off your next Built Bar order. Get Built Puffs, get the Built Mix Box, whatever you want at Built, best bar in the biz.
All righty. So definitely Dusty Baker had some interesting comments about that and about the injury today. Oh, let me take yeah, thank you.
I got it. I
So
got you.
yeah, so he underwent a MRI on Tuesday, and the Astros are still awaiting the results. And so this is what Dusty Baker had to say. I was very pleased with what I saw. I was surprised it wasn't swollen or black or blue. I was very surprised. Hopefully, that's a good sign. And so everybody wants to know, what is it? Is it his knee? Is it his ankle? Is it his MC? What is it? That's
I think it's
your
his. I think it's got to be his knee or his Achilles. It's got to be one of the two. The way he
right.
fell, non-contact injuries. Like when you talk about, I looked it up today. 26% of injuries are non-contact injuries. Of the top 6 injuries in baseball, 5 of the top ones are non-contact injuries. So non-contact injuries are actually very common for professional athletes. And some people say, well, how can they get injured? They're just running and all this stuff. The bottom line is this: these things happen. Your body, it ages. And when it looks like he actually was hampered by the lip of the grass to the mound, and that looks like where the fall happened, it was either his knee or his Achilles. And thankful that it wasn't a torn MCL. Because on contact like that, the way he fell a lot of times is ACL or MCL, because that's what happens. Everyone's like, "Oh, he felt a pop." You don't know if he felt a pop. You're not Jake Odorizzi. Oh, well, I've had that injury and I look the same way. No, well, obviously, no, you didn't, because it's not his ACL. The great thing is he's on the 50 out, Eric. The good news is it's not long term, because Jake needs to get back on the mound, because he's been very dependable these last 4 starts, and he's a team behind him.
Yeah, and if you're looking at what Josh Miller said, he says, I don't think we've finalized any plans yet, but if Jake is out, we will go with a 5-man rotation. We'll just go with a traditional 5-man rotation. There's an off day on the 26th, so we can plan around that. And the plan is to give Justin Verlander an extra day of rest, something that the team intended prior to Odorizzi's injury. Verlander is scheduled to start Saturday against the Rangers at Minute Maid Park. And so 6 days after his previous start on Sunday, Christian Javier will probably start in that slot on Friday. And should the team pitch him on May 27th in its series against opener against the Mariners, then off day, May 26th, will give him 5 days of rest against the Rangers as well. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to not pitch him on short rest or regular rest as much as possible. They're trying to just kind of spread him out apart as they can, as much as they can without Jake Odorizzi.
No, they're going to have to do that. That's just managing Verlander. I mean, even though he's been stellar, even though he's been really like a Cy Young pitcher, you still have to consider where he is age-wise. You don't want the horse going too fast out of the blocks. Kind of like when you watch horse racing and these thoroughbreds, and literally this last Eric, where you had that horse go from 11th or 13th place all the way to the front, right? All those other horses, they're all front runners. When horses catch up to them, they can't maintain leads. And what they're trying to keep from doing is Justin Verlander coming out of the block so hot that midway later in the season, he's not wearing down and his arm's not faltering, not because he can't do it, but because of fatigue. And so I smartly, but also Justin Verlander is the ultimate person, I think, for this to happen to, because he's at the stage in his career, he knows his body. I watched an interview, Eric, that I found with Mike Trout talking about his injury last year. And he said, I didn't understand how to take care of my body until I got injured. And I'm like, wait, this is Mike Trout, like one of the best, if not the best all-around player in the league, right? Carlos Correa said the same thing. Until I got injured and started having these injuries, I didn't know how to take care of myself. So Verlander really hasn't had this, but he's handling it with maturity because of his age.
So I'm not sure if you saw this, but going back to the Tyler Skaggs death, they have the investigation that happened, and something that resulted from this is Matt Harvey is getting a 60-game suspension. And part of it is because of during the trial, it was I guess he testified that he was part of the dealing of the drugs, and so he's gonna be out for the next 60 days.
He got dinged really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and that whole scandal with the Angels, that's the thing, and that's not something that I think anyone should ever use to dunk on someone else if they talk about and they're cheating. Like, that was a life altering thing for one family, for the Skaggs family, and that
right.
was massive. There's going to be more fallout from that, I bet, in the future. But I would be surprised if Matt Harvey ever pitches again, if I'm being honest.
I mean, yeah, that's if he was directly involved with like providing him with that, then that's a light sentence. But that's just my opinion, just coming from me. So before we talk about Kyle Tucker, Jake Meyers did return to game action Tuesday for the first time since offseason shoulder surgery. He did appear as a designated hitter in an extended spring training game, and I want to clarify, it was a extended spring training game, not a minor league game, not anything like that. So
Right.
It's not starting his clock, because a position player only has 20 games of rehab games before they have to get called back up. So this was just a practice game, a make-believe game.
Right.
So this is just that way they
And he
can give him
only
more
hit.
time.
He didn't play in the field. He was only DH.
Yeah.
So he was a DH. So that too kept him also, gave him some cover there. The concern, though, is it's throwing shoulder. And so what's going to happen the first time he dive for a ball, right? The first time he has to put a lot of real stress on that shoulder, and that's what they're going to be monitoring and babying him. But more than likely, we'll see him within a few weeks, I would think, in either Corpus or
Right.
Sugar Land. I would be surprised if not.
Yeah, I was looking at. I know we kind of teased this at the end of yesterday's podcast, but Kyle Tucker, this kind of came out at the end, and people have been addressing it today. I know that Chandler Rome wrote an article about it, and uh, that actually Kyle Tucker addressed it today and said, yes, the Astros and I did have some conversations about a potential extension, and it didn't work out. That does not mean that we can't do so in the future. It just wasn't the right time, and maybe it's because he was struggling in the beginning year and he just didn't feel like he would get his right value. I don't know, but this is what he had to say. Regardless, I'm here for the next year, for this year and the next three. There's plenty of time before my free agent year comes. I'm always open to talking. Obviously, I like to get out of the way if something does happen, just to not prolong it over a long period of time. So basically, he would like to get it over with, but he's okay if it doesn't happen right now. And I still think you're going to see the Astros do like they did with Bregman, Jose Altuve, do it during spring training and have like the big announcement, and all the teammates can come down and say, "Congratulations, Kyle Tucker! Welcome to the team long term," and buy out the arbitration or whatever, that type thing. But they did something similar to Bregman, and so we'll see what happens there. But I'm not in a big rush to lock him up. I think he wants to see what he can be, because he can be MVP. He's got the most RBIs on the team now. He is trailing Yordan Alvarez with home runs, but Alvarez is tied with Aaron Judge with 12 home runs in the National League, American League right now. So, but Tucker has 25 RBIs now. He's looking great. This offense is all of a sudden looking really great. And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it is one of those things where we just have to let the chips fall where they fall. And we know the potential of this team. We know that at the end of the day, there is not another team that has a lineup like this, proven consistently time and time again over the last 5 years, Eric. There's no team more playoff tested or battle ready, even without Correa, even without Springer. So the Astros are going to hit their stride. When they do, that run differential is going to continue to jump. And as World Traveler mentions, the Rangers have bases loaded. We're praying that they beat the Angels. We are pulling for the Rangers once again. We want them to beat the Angels. We need separation in the AL West.
All right, I'm going to be negative Nancy for a little bit and say that the
Uh-oh.
Astros did have 14 individual runners stranded in scoring position or left on base, and team runners in scoring position was 3 for 6. But overall, that's not bad. I'm just kidding. So overall, the errors with Bregman basically playing the shortstop position was kind of alarming. I mean, I know he's not used to that angle, but they do a lot of shifts, and those are maybe bad hops. Both of them were bad hops, and so it just. But that was a little bit alarming. Urquidy's not be able to get players out without a lot of hits. I mean, I know he did pitch. He did get the 5 innings, but it was a
Well,
struggle.
he didn't have a great game. That's going to
Right.
happen. But I'm sorry, when you have a team that hits this many home runs, it's kind of water under the bridge. It's on to the next
I know.
start. You have to have a short memory as a pitcher. Bregman booting stuff, he's going to do that every once in a while. He's Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman, that's why people are like, well, maybe he should play short. No, he has found his niche on the field defensively. He's better when he's charging the ball, going to the ball, making that
Right.
pickup, that barehanded grab. That is a rhythm that he has grown into. He does
Right.
not need to play shortstop. He's not a shortstop anymore. So if
Yeah.
people say that, they don't pay attention to baseball, period.
And like Argenio said, let's not be too hard on them because they did score. The Red Sox did score a lot of runs on us the day before, and Urquidy did limit them to only the 4 runs. So I guess we can look at that as well. So in tomorrow's game, it's going to be Luis Garcia versus Nick Pivetta. Garcia is 3-1 with a 2.94 ERA with 37 strikeouts. Nick Pivetta is 1-4 with a 5.08 ERA. At 33 strikeouts. I'm not going to make any predictions because that has burned me in the past. But one prediction I will make is that Kyle Tucker is going to have a great game because not only is he's hot, but he's 3 for 5 against him in his career.
Okay. Well, World Traveler asked this question, Eric, before we wrap this up. What do you guys think? Do you think Bregman should be moved out of the 3rd spot in the lineup? Or do you think he needs to stay?
Well, the question is, who would you put there? That's the question.
Well, you
So
got
if you
plenty
look
of
at,
people. Kyle Tucker.
then you're going to have the lefty.
I mean, seriously. Who
You'll
cares?
have lefty. Dusty Baker cares. That's who cares. And he's the guy who makes all decisions. So that's why you're not going to move Bregman. So if you're going to move anybody, it'll be Gurriel up there. But Gurriel is just coming out of it, and he's just comfortable in that spot. So why would you move him out of a spot
What
that
about
he's
Pena?
comfortable in?
How about Pena? Pena 3rd. But if he's
That's
comfortable,
too early in a critical spot in his career. I mean,
too early. What do you mean? Hold on,
I'm
wait.
okay.
What do you mean critical spot?
Okay, I'm okay with him batting second. I'm okay with him leading off. But the 3-hole, that's reserved for a pretty that's typically your best hitter. That's where I know that's old school. I think Jeff Bagwell hitting there. And I know on this team you have like Jose Altuve leading off, and you have I know the 3rd hitter is not always your best hitter anymore, but typically you put one of your better hitter there. And I'm not saying that Pena is not one of the better hitters. I know his at batting average is all the way up to 282. His slugging percentage is 536. His on base percentage is 341. So yes, it screams there, but he is still a rookie. That would be a big responsibility for a championship team. So,
Hey, Wheelbite says, "Are you not yet entertained by our Rookie of the Year candidate yet?" I can hear this in almost like a thematic voice. I love it. That's actually a great comment. But at the end of the day, Jeremy Pena, no matter where he plays, is going to contribute on this team. He is absolutely excelling and exceeding rookie expectations. I'm so glad that I added where my mouth was. And you know what? And I'll say this. I'll come clean. I said the Astros were going to lose 2 out of 3 in Boston in the second game. I thought they were going to lose. You know what? They won, and I got to eat my crow tonight. And I love being wrong. I love when I make predictions against the team because I just thought coming into Boston, the end of the road trip, maybe they're going to let it down a little bit. So I think tomorrow, they come out and do the job, come home and get to go see them Thursday night. So check it out. So Thursday night, gonna be there for the Yuli Juan Kenobi bobblehead. I'm excited on that.
Be patient with Alex Bregman. He will come around, and we will all be thankful that Dusty Baker had faith in him. But it's not H-Town Wheelhouse who makes that decision. It's not Eric the Man Heisman. Oh, I actually said that out loud.
Who said that? You said Eric the Man Heisman. Yes.
Oh God,
he said it.
Yeah.
He said it. Thank you, Columbus Trade, the voice of Locked On Astros. Eric.
I said I would never say that. I said I'll never say that.
Guys,
but anyway,
guys and girls, don't let him fool you on camera. He loves it. He actually has a neon sign, Eric the Heisman, in his living room above his TV.
Okay, and apparently the Yankees own us. Thank you, John.
Who said the Yankees own us? Oh, the Yankees own you, nerds. Hey,
cool.
You know what? Hey, John, like my friend from Brooklyn says, don't be corny. Don't be corny. Take off your Canal Street jersey that says Judge on the back. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. You're hanging out with Locked On Yankees.
You know what we do not do? We
What?
don't say F Judge all the time or F Stanton all the
Yeah,
time.
you know what we do? Hold on, we don't make chants about Yankees. We just beat them in the freaking playoffs. We beat their pants off. How's that? How's that? How you like them apples, nerd? All right, thanks. It's all good.
That's
Hey,
actually
man,
how I
we
started
love
the show.
baseball. It's all fun. Really? How
Yeah,
do you
with
like
the
them
how you like
apples?
them apples. Yeah.
Nice.
All
No,
righty.
but
So
hey,
anyway,
seriously, John, thanks for hanging out with us.
yeah. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. And we got to witness history today, franchise history, where they hit 5 home runs in an inning and finished with 6 home runs. And last time they hit 4 home runs in an inning was in 2004. We already talked about that. So if you missed the beginning of the podcast, go back, go subscribe to us, go make us your first listen. Go listen to us on YouTube. Go listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make us your first listen and go Stros. And we'll be talking to you after tomorrow's victory over the Red Sox. And Yankees, you should be thanking us because we're trying to help you. So go Stros.
Bing bong.